So, welcome everyone. Namaste, Jagan. So, I hope we were able to maybe focus and gather ourselves a little. And now, today, we are ready to take May 24th, 1914, prayer by the Mother. And I thought maybe it would be a nice occasion today again to remind us of uh, what is this meant for, prayers and meditations, this compilation. So, in the beginning of this compilation, there is a note which I thought it would be nice if we go through again today through that note. Yeah, so it says it is a collection of some prayers. Again, not all the prayers were available for publishing. Some 313 prayers are here, and of course, translated. Some of the translations are done by Sri Aurobindo, but more important, this is what I wanted to share. So, this is by the Mother herself. She says, some give their soul to the divine, some their life, some offer their work, some their money. A few consecrate all of themselves and all they have: soul, life, work, wealth. These are the true children of God. Others give nothing. These, whatever their position, power, and riches, are for the divine purpose valueless ciphers. This book is meant for those who aspire for an utter consecration to the divine. So I think it's good to again from time to time remind ourselves that why should we read these prayers, why should we contemplate over this. So if this is my aim, then it actually makes sense, and these prayers, as if they become a part of me, and I feel in practicality the working of these prayers, how the truth behind these prayers kind of reveals itself out. So this book is meant for those who aspire for an utter consecration to the divine. And if that is not right now my aim, then can't say how much one will receive. So yes, jumping on to May 24. Yeah. Yeah, so would anyone like to read it out aloud for us, this prayer of May 24, before we begin the reflections?
May 24, 1914. 1914. O my sweet master, let me not be submerged by outer things. They have no interest, no savour for me. If I busy myself with them, it is because I feel that such is thy will, and the work must be accomplished integrally, down to the least details of the action and substance. But it is quite enough to turn one's attention to them and infuse thy forces into them as much as possible. They must not be allowed to take precedence of the true realities in one's consciousness. Should I continue with the next paragraph? O my sweet master, I aspire for thee, for the knowledge of what thou art, for identification with thee. I ask for a greater love, growing always purer, always vaster, always more intense, and I find myself as it were submerged in matter. In this, thy reply. Is this thy reply? As thou hast thyself accepted to be thus submerged in matter, so as to awaken it gradually to consciousness, is this the result of a more perfect identification with thee? Is this not thy answer to me? If thou wouldst learn to love truly, this is how thou shouldst love in darkness and unconsciousness. O my, O my Lord, my sweet Master, thou knowest that I belong to thee, and that always I want what thou willest. But do not let any doubt about what thou willest arise in me. I'll just read that one. O my Lord, my sweet Master, thou knowest that I belong to thee, and that always I want what thou willest. But do not let any doubt about what thou willest arise in me. Enlighten me in some way in the immutable peace of the heart. Let me be submerged in darkness if that is necessary, but at least let me know that it is thou who willest it. Lord, in response, I hear singing within my heart the hymn of gladness of thy divine and permanent presence.
Thank you. So we know that, again, mother is divine mother. She doesn't need to go through all this darkness, but that is why it helps us, because she is plunged into human mortality, human darkness, so that we can be sure that there is a way further. There is a way towards transformation and light. And these are all prayers of a, one can say, a being who is aspiring to unite with the divine. So that's why they resonate with us. And if divine mother is divine mother, of course she then, is the divine mother. But now she is showing us the way how to do the yoga. That's why she plunged. Doesn't need to, but that's why, that's what we call divine sacrifice. So, oh my sweet master, let me not be submerged by outer things. How practically applicable to each one of us. All the time, our scattered consciousness, thinking about this person, that person, trying to connect those dots in my head, that dot in my head. Always we are concerned about connecting dots in our head through our limited mind to find out a resolution in our outer circumstances. And we know how much we keep on toiling and toiling, and it really doesn't help us. So she shows us the way. What is the way? Oh my sweet master, let me not be submerged by outer things. And if we before see this, the prayers before this, she also has a true communion with the divine. So when in our silent contemplations, meditations, we have a true communion with the divine, all of us have glimpses of that. Then we are, again, the moment we open our eyes, we have the outer world in front of us, all those relations, family life, and then we say that, oh my God, where have I come? Why can't I just be there where I was, for example? So she says, let me not be submerged by outer things. They have no interest, no savor for me. So where I find joy is with you, with true communion with you. And these outer things, really, I don't find them joyful. If I busy myself with them, it is because I feel that such is thy will, and the work must be accomplished integrally down to the least details of the action and substance. So, how beautiful the attitude that we have to take when we are submerged in outer things. So, she says, even when I immerse myself in outer things, it's not in frustration and annoyance that, oh my God, why I should be there but not here. No. She says that I feel that this is your will, that I have to be here, so that that perfection that I feel in communion with thee has to be in action, in work, in relationships, in interactions, that detail. If I busy myself with them, it is because I feel that such is thy will, you want me to be here, and the work must be accomplished integrally. So the beauty that we find in our contemplations and silence has to be found in work, action, in day-to-day living, integrally, down to the least details of action and substance. Beauty and harmony of thoughts, beauty and harmony of feelings in the body, beauty and harmony of discipline, beauty and harmony in relationships. But it is quite enough. So, since she has a true communion, which we have been seeing in other prayers before this, she says, but it is quite enough to turn one's attention to them. So imagine that you are connected with the source of light, strength, power, and beauty. So the more you immerse yourself in that, in the pockets of time where you can, when your attention is now turned to the material life, what can you do? What will you spill in that material life? That light and love that you have been immersing yourself with. No? So this, I think this is very important here. So in our empty pockets of time, where are we lost? Where is my mind resting? So if my mind, when it comes back to interaction with the world, there is frustration, annoyance, and all kind of ugliness in my inner being and outside, then it means I am not utilizing those empty pockets of time well. And when the mind is dipped in the holy Ganges, which is always present within us, then when we turn our attention to the outwardly situations, then what can we pour there if not the water of Ganges? So it tells me where I have been immersed. So she says, what is enough? But it is quite enough that you just turn your attention, enough to turn one's attention to them, to the outer stuff, and infuse thy forces into them as much as possible. Why? Because in other spaces, she has been communing with the divine presence. So what can she infuse but the divine presence in the matter also, in interactions also. They must not be allowed to take precedence of the true realities in one's consciousness. Very important, and this all the masters have also communicated in their own way, that nothing outer should become so important that it eats up your head. It takes away your sanctity within. So she says, they must not be allowed to take precedence of the true realities in one's consciousness. What is most important for each one of us walking on the path is our inner communion with the divine. Most important. So although she says that what is the attitude one takes is, one infuses one's divine consciousness, which one has been having, the contact is there. So when you turn your attention to the outer, you give that light to the outer also. But even then, the outer should not take precedence over the true reality in one's consciousness. She sets right our inner compass. Divorce happens, separation happens, relationship breaks, work goes away, money gone, no house to live. Imagine all kind of worst possible situations. Yes, parallelly we have to infuse divine consciousness there, light and love there, but they are not primary, they are secondary. So she says they must not be allowed to take precedence of the true realities in one's consciousness. That's what we have to do. Always like shedding, like you shed the dust off your shoulders, from time to time, shedding all the burden from time to time just away. And what is most important is my connection with the mother within. That is what we have to work upon, all of us who want to walk this path of union with the divine. Yeah, so anything here, anyone, any reflections, any add-ons?
Yes, the sentence where it says, if I busy myself with them, it is because I feel that such is thy will, and the work must be accomplished integrally down to the least details of action and substance. Just right before the start of this sentence, it says, let me not be submerged by outer things. They have no interest, no savor for me. So if I am submerged in outer things that really don't have anything for me, that don't feed me with anything good, and then like I'm just confused, man. Like, right now, if I'm doing something, let's say I'm watching something that has no purpose, and how will I tell myself that this is also one of the works of the divine?
Yeah,
How
yeah.
will
So
I remember that?
there is a confusion here. The work she is doing is not watching Netflix or watching something passively. The work she is doing is the ashram work. Now this is very important. See, mother, we see again and again that we need a certain kind of disinterestedness. Why disinterestedness? That yes, I may do this work because this appears right, that okay, this has to be done. So first, that is very important, that what work here is mentioned is the right kind of a work which needs to be done, like brushing my teeth. I need to do it. Taking care of the instrument, taking care of my kids. I need to do it. I am around, I am responsible, right? So she says that the most interesting that I find is true communion with you. That's the most interesting for me. Nothing interests me in the world whatsoever. But yet I still engage myself in the ashram work. And right now we have to see that it's not that ashram is formed 1914, but there are interactions. She is here in Pondicherry. There are interactions with all the people living, close disciples of Sri Aurobindo who are living in the early times, right? So she says that the only reason I involve myself with them now that I have to is because I know that there must be some your will only in these interactions. So let me do it beautifully. Otherwise, they can't add anything onto me or subtract anything from me. See, usually how we do work is either we think that, oh, if I get a promotion, something is added onto me. If I get a good job with lots of salary, some good postdoc position somewhere, I become a professor. So as if something is added onto me. So I want that position. That's why it's interested work. We all know that. And if I lose that job, oh, as if something is subtracted from me. She says that no, all the addition subtraction for me is gone. Why? Because the only thing that matters is communion with you, which I have a glimpse of. And not only a glimpse, I have a stability in. So that interests me so much. But the only reason I engage with this work is that I know this ought to be done and let me do it beautifully. And why she says have to be done beautifully, that communion I feel with you, that perfection in the communion has to be in the details of life. That's what integral yoga is about. है ना, कि जो जो एक्शन है, जो जो थॉट है, जो जो फीलिंग है, everything contains that beauty which I have when I am all by myself. है ना. अब इसमें this is very helpful for those of us who are on consciously on spiritual path, because this helps. Disinterestedness in our work helps a lot, because then my ego is not ambitious that no, I want this work, I don't want to give it to anyone because this is part of me, my identity. So you must be able to ready to leave the work, mother says, in one moment. Like Sri Aurobindo left freedom struggle, so passionately involved in it. One day gets a sentence, okay, leave all this, leaves, gets an adesh from inside, no, nothing doing. So nothing is a part of that sticky, like it is me. So for those of us who are consciously on spiritual path, even when we are doing spiritual work, this you will see in many organizations, it's a major loophole. In many organizations which are spiritual, if you talk to those people, you know as if their part of identity is joined with that thing that they are doing. I have been taking care of this library, I have read 150 books of Krishnamurti, so it becomes part, it like as if it's adding on something to me. We think it's spiritual path, but it's nothing more than material. It's the same game going on in a spiritual garb. So this is the main change that happens. Disinterestedness in whatever work you are doing. Mother talks about disinterested love, a love which gives, but it's not that if it's not giving, oh, what do I do, that other person is not taking love from me. So that restlessness is not there. A love which gives before, because it can't do anything without, apart from giving. Like a flower, a flower, whether you crush it or keep it alive, all that it can give is fragrance. So that has to be the change in our consciousness. Disinterested. When will it become disinterested? It can't become disinterested. It will become disinterested when inside of me, I find that true communion with the divine. I am in love with that solitude within. You fall in love with that company of silence, emptiness. People call it loneliness. And you enjoy it so much that even if other things are not happening, it doesn't feel like, oh my God, there is something lacking in my life. And then you can do the right work with disinterest. That, okay, I know this needs to be done. Let me do it beautifully.
Thank you.
Yeah,
It's like, first of all, it's like having my cup empty and then only naturally reserving it for the divine and nothing else.
bilkul. Yeah. And this is for each one of us. That cup in us, which is empty, can only be fulfilled by the divine. No person can fulfill it. And then it's not that we will stop having interactions and relations, but all that we can spill out is that divine essence in which we remain immersed. So how will be the relationships? They will be beautiful because we are not like wanting anything. The begging has stopped now because the cup is fulfilled by the fountain from above. So why the need for begging? Then relationships can have true harmony and true freedom also, respect also, care, distance, respect for each other's journey. So I may be somebody's spouse, but God knows what whose journey. So having that space for each other, not saying that if I have signed a contract, it means that we have to always be together. And the only contract, unsigned contract that we have signed is with our beloved, all of us. That is not on paper, but that's the most important thing that matters. And if that is taken care of, then everything else falls into place. So that's what we have to do. Then everything becomes disinterested. So I may be, say for example, I may be taking a session, but if I don't take a session, I don't feel that something is lacking in my life. I go to, nowadays I go to some work, in Delhi ashram. So it doesn't mean that one day I don't go, 2 day, 1 week I'm not able to go. It feels that, oh my God, what do I do? As if my part of identity is lacking. That doesn't become sticky to my identity. That's what we have to do. Jivan mukta. Sri Aurobindo uses this word Jivan Mukta, that it is possible to live without desires. But it is possible only when we find our true fulfillment in the divine. When I'm begging, then it's not possible. So first I have to get, then only I can give. So get, because the fountain is all 24/7 available, if only we pay heed to it. Yeah.
Ma'am, I'll just add one more thing.
Yeah, please.
When you said, attending these sessions, sometimes missing these sessions should not, disconnect me. The last week, not last week, I think before last week, I missed a session on Saturday morning, and I was really upset. I was talking to Taru ma'am, and I said, "Ma'am, I cannot believe I missed this session. That was a very beautiful session." And even ma'am told me the same thing. But I, when I look at myself from a third person's view, I find that this person that is Jagan, he is he is. It feels like he's treading in waters filled with crocodiles, and only mother is able to, you know, help him out. So for him, in order to be able to, not get into that, not drown in that lake filled with crocodiles. At this point, he really needs the mother, and his mind is so engrossed in those worries that something will pull me down and those crocodiles will eat me, that he's requesting the mother to, teach me how I can stay afloat and have the light that will repel all these creatures around me. And right now the work is still in progress, the learning is still in progress, and which is why I felt that, even losing that external thing for a second made me fall a little bit deeper into the lake again, like, drown a bit deeper. And it sometimes scares me, because I feel that I'm not ready yet to keep myself afloat and to just have mother in the background. Right now I want her in the foreground, and I want to see her, to learn from her. So is this the right attitude I'm having, ma'am, or should I change this? I don't.
Yeah.
I just want.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. So, what if a couple of things? One thing is that the objective, the purpose of these sessions is not to make us dependent on these sessions. The purpose of these sessions is to make us glued to the mother in such a way that the sessions are redundant now. Now they don't matter anymore. Attend, not attend, doesn't matter. But then there is a phase, it's a journey. So there is a phase when you, like crutches. If I have a crack in my leg, I use crutches for some time so that I can walk nicely. But crutches have the proper place. If I'm walking nicely, still using the crutches, doesn't make sense. They'll feel like a burden. Why am I carrying these? So use all the crutches that are uplifting you, whether these sessions, some books, some talks, whatever uplifts you, whatever you feel that okay, now I am lighter, we must use those crutches as long as I have bandage in my leg. But very soon it happens that the bandage heals, and it is very important that that crutches gave you such strength, all the physical occupational therapy gave you such strength that now one can take care of one's own by relying solely on the divine. So what is most important are not these sessions and not me or Taru not living light. The only thing which is important is, are we connected with the mother? Rest everything is redundant, it is secondary, it is only a way, like a conveyor belt, to reach there, to strengthen our relationship with the mother. Once it is strengthened, I don't call people to sessions, and there is a purpose, because if I know that if the person is ready, he would come. And when the person is ready, he would also drop off, which is very important. Dropping off is very important. Because there is a place for everything. Then once you are solely relying on the mother, you know that even crocodile is the mother. The deep waters are the mother. What is to be afraid of? When that kind of a strength comes, that is our औचित्य. That you have a certitude that, okay, अरे हम यहाँ पे कह रहे हैं divine is infinite, divine is everywhere, mother is in the darkness, right? And then I wonder that I'm fearing the crocodiles. Okay, I know mother, crocodiles are also you. You are going to teach me something through the crocodile. So let me be eaten up. Because I know that your hand and your womb is there still. That kind of certitude we have to develop. Logically speaking, also this is true. When we say divine is infinite, how is it possible that it is not there in the depth of that dingy water and crocodile? Think about it. Infinite means infinite. There is no limit. There is no little grain where the divine is not. So in your darkness, in your plunges, in your sorrow, in your sadness, in your suffering, in the crocodiles, in the kaante wali jhadi, wounding, bleeding, everywhere, उन्हीं का राज है और कोई है ही नहीं. So we are in such safe hands. This is what we have to contemplate on. That we are in her womb all the time. How protected a child feels in the womb. No, I am with the mother all the time. Fed by the mother, living in the mother. That's what we have to feel. We are living in the mother. Both are true. Mother is in us and we are living in the mother. All the side, the space around you is mother's presence. You are embraced by the mother all the time. So even if a crocodile comes, who is that? ऐसे शेर दिल होके जीना होता है, like fearless. So this is the quality when we walk with the divine, in, around, everywhere, all the part of the space touching us is the divine. What else? No germs can touch. Even if germs touch, okay, what is a germ? Some part of divine, some manifestation of divine. I'll go through it. तो क्या डरने वाली का बात ही नहीं है. Let yourself just stay. The only thing is glued to the mother. That's what we have to do. And then every water is safe water. Every plunge is a safe plunge. Every fall is a safe fall. And every fracture is a safe fracture when we are with the mother. Every disease, cancer, doesn't matter. अरे क्या चीज है? Body क्या चीज है? What is a... we are so much more than the body. People say, okay, what if cancer comes back? Okay, comes back. I will go through it again. Okay, I will die. What? How does it matter? Secondary, So much of beauty already is there in our life since we are in touch with the mother. What can be more blissful that in this very lifetime we have gotten to see her, read her words, feel her presence, to be able to call her name. इससे ज्यादा क्या मांगे? लगता है कि अरे इतना दे दिया, बस. And rest, everything is our journey, of course. And the crocodiles, I create the crocodiles. We have to slowly realize that. It's the mind. The moment I withdraw the sanction, crocodiles are puss, like वो bubble को, गुब्बारे वाला crocodile होता है, उसको पिन चुबाते हैं तो हवा निकल जाती है. वो है, कुछ नहीं है उसमें, वो जो crocodile आपको दिख रहा है. Nothing there. It's like a bubble. फुस करोगे उसको, उसमें शक्ति नहीं है, जान ही नहीं है उसमें. दूर से दिखता है crocodile ना. There is a Upanishadic story, where it says rope and snake. दूर से देखें snake लग रहा है, डर रहे हैं. पास जाके देखा light of consciousness, अरे rope है, डरने की तो बात ही नहीं है. So the more we go close to the crocodile. You can't be eaten up, know that. The body may be eaten up. You won't be eaten up. You are mother's child. So we have to reinforce these things in us, like injection. Mother says, inject karo apne andar. I am mother's child. If I am on the right path, nothing will touch. And if something will touch, some lesson is there, I will learn the lesson. This is what Aryan spirit is about, warrior spirit is about. We all are warriors. It's not some specific people who are warriors. Psychic being is a warrior. So bindas, fearlessly live your life and go close to every shadow, every darkness. When you are with the mother, nothing to fear. Just the only thing is being with the mother. That's it. Fail safe.
I have a question.
Yes, Jagan? Yeah.
Sorry, Nandini.
Yeah.
Just one second.
Hmm.
So, thank you, ma'am. You are absolutely right that these sessions are, even I see them as a way to, have that connection with the mother. Not depending on these sessions, but it's a way for me, because if I look at the Jagan from 6 months ago to the Jagan right now, there is a progress. Even though I don't know how much it is, I'm not calculating the progress, but there is a progress, and these sessions are definitely, those crutches for me, and even more than that for me to walk this path. And you are right. If I if I get that light in me, then maybe those crocodiles are not crocodiles. Maybe they are something else. So I really
Be
appreciate this.
be sure. Maybe nahi. Be sure. Tell
Be sure.
yourself, I am mother's child. Nothing can touch me. See, why we are afraid usually is that we are trying to fulfill our personal agendas in life. That makes us afraid. वो इंटरेस्ट डिसइंटरेस्ट की बात कर रहे थे ना. अगर धीरे धीरे आप बोलो कि भैया मैं मदर का बच्चा हूं और मैं सही पथ पे चलूंगा और जेन्युइन काम करूंगा, राइट एफर्ट करूंगा, तो फिर फियर की भी बात नहीं है ना. है ना. फिर क्रोकोडाइल भी आएगा तो अरे मदर का बच्चा चल रहा है, मदर देखेगी, क्रोकोडाइल मदर संभालेगी. है ना. मदर का काम कर रहा हूं मैं, कोई अपना थोड़ी ना पर्सनल काम कर रहा हूं. सो दैट्स व्हाई व्हेन वी गिव अवर सेल्व्स अ हायर एम इन लाइफ, मदर सेज ऑन दैट डिपेंड्स द क्वालिटी ऑफ अवर लाइफ. तो हमारा फिर डर खत्म हो जाता है ना, क्योंकि अब आप अपने लिए नहीं जी रहे, अब आप अपने लिए मकान नहीं बना रहे, अपने लिए प्रॉपर्टी नहीं इकट्ठी कर रहे. है ना. ये नहीं कह रहे कि बस मैं और मेरे 4 लोग बस वो सेफ रहे, बाकी भगवान संभाले. ये नहीं कह रहे. अब आप यू आर लिविंग फॉर अ ग्रेटर पर्पस. लिविंग फॉर कम्युनियन विद द डिवाइन इन इट सेल्फ, इट इज अ ग्रेटर पर्पस on a little scale. And then you expand even in your works. You try to do it as a servitude. We have talked about it. Shraddha bhav se. Not that okay somebody would praise me, somebody would give me promotion. तब डर लगता है कि अच्छा क्या होगा अगर प्रमोशन ले ली तो. तब डर लगता है. So slowly things will happen, and as you said, they are happening. They are happening, and in degrees we grow in our strength. It's already happening. Yeah. So thank you for sharing.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
Nandini ji, sorry for the interruption.
Yeah. हाँ नंदिनी बताओ.
First of all, I would also like to say in resonance with Jagan that these sessions are a beautiful sangha, and I do resonate that may we all reach to a level where we do not need even the power of sangha, because divine becomes such a concrete presence. But till that time, I also feel strongly that we need sangha, otherwise we'll be lost, at least some sort. Even for that matter, Sure Bindo's book, or books where are beautiful sangha too. But like so much clarity we get while talking to one another, so many of our ignorances. So I'm very grateful as well for these sessions. I had a question, two questions actually. One was from last session. I couldn't attend, but during the recording there was something I had a doubt. Was beautiful phase in synthesis where Sure Bindo says that you have to soar and also circle, and we discuss in detail. It was really beautiful. I was thinking it was about me. Like when you're soaring, it gets hard to circle, and when you circle, I don't know about everybody, but I in particular have this tendency of carrying other people who are close to me, and even the entire world if I can, to that heights. But as you said, we need to respect that it's everybody's journey. especially with your close ones, your spouse. I don't have children, but I don't know how people do with children, because with that, or your sibling or somebody else, you have this tendency that, oh, because I have tasted even like for 5 seconds that glimpse of peace that is so beautiful. May they too, and not from ill will or arrogance or ambition. Maybe there is unconsciously, but out of love, or out of goodwill. But then you get resistance, and you feel, and your reaction to that resistance, something that I feel, okay, I'm, to a large extent, I'm able to close my mouth, like, that resistance will not reflect from my words, or like, I won't that, but inside, that peace is taken away. So I don't really know. That was I was thinking. I'll maybe raise this question: how can we soar and circle with an acknowledgement that it is everybody's journey, especially who are very close to you, people who you live with, because your life is also dependent in the time that you are intertwined with them. For other people, it's easier to ignore because you say, okay, let mother take care. But if somebody is with you 24/7, it's hard because you get. So I just thought I'll ask that.
Yeah,
And in
beautiful.
Thailand, yoga, it is important. It is not, it is like Shri Aurobindo says that you cannot just soar and not, then it is not integral. Has to happen simultaneously.
बिल्कुल
So,
बिल्कुल. देखो, जब हम क्रचेस से चल रहे हैं और धीरे धीरे ऐसा लग रहा है कि स्ट्रेंथ आ रही है पैरों में, तो क्या हम पहले दिन मैराथन करने लग जाते हैं? नहीं. क्या करते हैं? वी टेक स्लो स्टेप्स and we circle in a small periphery. We walk in a small periphery. Then the other days, next day, we maybe gain strength. Then we take a greater periphery. Then further, slowly. Then one day we think, okay, maybe today I can jog. Then we begin to jog. And then we ask our friends, okay, come jog with me. हमारे साथ क्या होता है? Because of this vital eagerness. This is vital eagerness, what you were sharing. Vital restlessness. Which is, as you said, it's not ill will. Goodwill ही है. But coming from the vital. जहां पे भी वाइटल इन्वॉल्व है वहां पे डिसअपॉइंटमेंट भी इन्वॉल्व है. एक थाली के चट्टे बट्टे. बड़ी खुशी हो जाएगी अगर साथ चले और बड़ी उदास हो जाएगी अगर नहीं चले. तो ये क्या है? ये आप नहीं हो, ये वाइटल है. सो व्हाट वी हैव टू डू इज दैट स्लोली वी हैव टू गिव स्पेस टू द साइकिक coming in front. And also vital has a lot of enthusiasm, energy. It is good servant, like okay abhi kar dete hain, so keep that energy. We have to respect that energy. But then the surface vital, which is full of these expectations and disappointments, that is what we have to step back from. The energy of the vital doesn't have to go anywhere. It remains with us, like Hanuman, always ready to work, serve the Lord. So that energy has to be preserved, but it is like a concentrated in-gathered energy. If the Lord commands, okay, ready. But if the Lord is not commanding, it's not like kya karu, koi kaam nahi aa raha. Not like that. So that's what we have to in-gather, like tapasya, isko tapasya kehte hain, that in-gathered energy, and the thing is stable. And then immediately it shoots like an arrow when required. So, and the second thing is that what we have to see is that we are all soaring in our own consciousness from time to time, but we also are taking dips and plunges in identifying with our thoughts and feelings quite regularly at this phase. ना अभी इतना भी स्ट्रॉन्ग कम्युनियन नहीं है. तो आप सोच के देखो, दूसरा बंदा आपको दूर से देख रहा है, वो उसको खुद दिख रहा है कि आप क्रचेस से चल रहे हो और आप उसको कह रहे हो तू मेरे साथ मैराथन चल. वो क्या बोलेगा? भैया मेरे को नहीं चलना, तू पहले अपना ध्यान रख ले. है ना? सो दिस इज गुड. तभी कबीर जी कहते हैं निंदक नियरे राखी. ऑल द क्रिटिकल पीपल कीप अराउंड यू. दे विल टेल यू ऑफ योर ट्रू प्रोग्रेस. Thankfully we all have them at home. So we have to continue soaring. That's what I wanted to share. Our stability in mother's consciousness has to stabilize deeper. That is the only thing which matters, nothing else. And slowly then, see, like a flower doesn't have to say, see mere mein khushboo hai, le lo. People come, ye aa kahan se rahi hai khushboo? That's what we have to become. So we indifferent from the outer world, not saying that you don't help and interact, that's all is there, part of life, but indifferent in the sense not wanting to fix anything outwardly in a person, because that's the most hardest task that we can do, anything, to ourselves. The only thing I am concerned with is that, do I have that stability in mother's consciousness? I don't. Let me stabilize that. Let me stabilize that. So all the time, as if you are immersed in a fragrance, immersed in a fragrance, immersed in a fragrance. Then whatever daily matters are required, they are done effortlessly. They are done. They are done. Immersed in that fragrance. And slowly, then it spills over. When will it spill over? We don't know. Maybe not in this lifetime, in others. How does it matter? So as long as I'm enjoying that fragrance in which I'm dipping myself all the time, that's what matters. And that is the proof of a living presence of progress. And then, even if a suggestion is done or you want all the world to go together, which is a beautiful wish, but the eagerness, the vital restlessness is not there, because now something else is more important. You realize how much work is undone in you and you attend to that. तो वो होती है, vital eagerness is a part of process, but we have to step back and continue the true work, and slowly that vital eagerness fades off. So wherever there is disappointment and intensity, it is the surface vital poking nose.
There's another question that came from the reading. It was about divine will. And I think in here, Mother talks about it. And she, of course, talks in the real sense. But, there was one thing that really stuck me with Alokda's talk. He said, we were there, we were doing some work, and the light went off, like light chali gayi. And then somebody said, oh, Jesse maa ki marzi, if it's her will, let it be. Then he said, but how divine will be that there is no light? It is the human ignorance or human limitation. That stuck me really like deeply. And I thought that so many times we justify our life thinking that, oh, this is divine will, okay, jaisi Bhagwan ki marzi. All the time we hear it. And so that was something that I thought of maybe raising or just sharing, that divine will cannot be ugly. I feel like that. And the world is ugly because at certain level, because the world is not ready, we are not receptive, it has been distorted. So again, it's a difficult question, but I still feel that how can we know if it's, I think I've raised it before, but in this context, how can we know that this, for Mother, it's clear that even if I'm doing this work, I know I'm doing it because it's your will. For us, it cannot be like, okay, I'm engaging in this because it's will, because we don't know if it's divine will or it's if just, our ignorance being manifested, or, our vital thing that we want to achieve and just giving it a good package of saying that it's divine will. So just for us, because even in the prayer we can mislead that, okay, like even Jagan said, if I'm engaged in the crocodiles, like if I'm doing in there, being there, divine will, but like Mother's will cannot be that we cannot be crocodile. Even if it is, it will be with a higher aspiration, as you said, that you will change it, transform it, maybe there, but we're not ready yet to do all of that at Vedika. So just how can we really distinguish and like to just understand? Sorry for this.
Yeah, you're right. The way we are, we can't. And that's why we have to change if we want. है ना? अभी तो इतनी भसड़ मची हुई है अंदर कि वो डिवाइन विल बेचारी कोने में पड़ी रहती है, हमें कुछ उसका आता पता नहीं होता. ऑल्दो इट्स वर्किंग बिहाइंड द व्हील ऑल द टाइम, बट मेरे को कॉन्शियसली उसका नहीं पता. So I think in Mother's words only, something comes like this, that for knowing divine will, first thing is mental quietude, silence in the being. पहले तो वो काम करें, स्टेप बाय स्टेप होगा ना. Then lack of preferences and desires, वही काम इतना बड़ा है, अगेन लाइफ टाइम्स जॉब. So if we consciously want to know the divine will, like a knowing, divine will is like a knowing. And also there is, it's like not a eagerness. Eagerness जहाँ पे है वो vital उंगली करता है. Be sure about it. So जहाँ पे imagine करो कि तुम्हें लग रहा है कि आज मे बी ऐसा लग रहा है अंदर से knowing आ रही है, today I have to meet this person, it's divine will. So how am I fooling myself that if I don't meet, I feel disappointed. But मजे की बात यह है कि चाहे हमें कॉन्शियसली पता है डिवाइन विल या नहीं पता है, slowly the evolution takes us that we know it. That's the fail safe, divine certitude. That's why mother's prayers and meditations, again and again she says divine victory is certain. So once if this aspiration has arisen in you that I would like to one day know the divine will, है ना, अभी छोटा सा लग रहा है कि कभी तो पता लगेगा, अभी नहीं दिखता क्लियरली बट कभी तो पता लगेगा. So इसका मतलब उसका प्रोसेस शुरू हो चुका है. And for that necessary steps are to have that mental vital quietude in the being. Restless energies have to be quietened. Everything has to be exclusively opened to the divine. No personal liking and preference. Nothing whatsoever. अच्छा अगर बच्चा हो रहा है तो ठीक है, डिवोर्स हो रहा है तो ठीक है, अगर कुछ भी नहीं हो रहा, शादी भी नहीं हो रही, अच्छा तो भी ठीक है. इसका मतलब पैसिविटी नहीं है. एवरीथिंग इज वेरी एक्टिव इन इंटेग्रल योगा. इट्स वेरी एक्टिव. Actively you are looking at the weaknesses, you are offering to the mother. This is a very active process. Not like अच्छा divine करेंगे सब कुछ. No. And slowly one gets a knowing. One just knows. And also mother says in desire there is an intense vibration, in aspiration there is no intense vibration, but there is a knowing that yes, if this is to happen, it will happen. I know. If it is needed for me, it will happen, and if it is not needed for me, good. So धीरे धीरे that certitude develops, and as the being quietens down, the more we become aligned with the divine will, then we don't even need to ask it, because there is a knowing which tells you. And abhi knowing is cluttered behind all the restless energies. It is there but it's cluttered. जैसे एकदम से अब सुबह लोग कहते हैं ना तारे, क्या तारे सुबह नहीं होते? होते हैं, दिखते नहीं है. जब वो नॉइज और बैकग्राउंड नॉइज ऑफ लाइट व्हेन इट goes away, then they are there. हमें लगता है अरे ये अभी भी आए. So light and divine will is, I feel, again I feel personally from my journey that it is like that the more quietened I myself, and the more I just find solace and contentment in the mother, then divine will unfolds itself even more consciously, which is already happening behind the veil. Yeah. So, yes. Let's take a little further, then we can see. O my sweet master, I aspire for thee, for the knowledge of what thou art. Who is divine? What is divine? Becoming curious. O my sweet master, I aspire for thee to the knowledge of what thou art, for identification with thee. And if somebody says that, oh, divine is my true self, then the aspiration rises in me that then I must be identified with that true self. That is our birthright. I ask for a greater love, growing always purer. Purer again, devoid of all the emotional impurities, interests, personal agendas. I ask for a greater love, growing always purer, always vaster. So not only the 4 people in my world, but also the whole world comes within, always more intense, and I find myself as it were submerged in matter. Is this thy reply? No, so as if she's feeling that all this, the identification with thee, as if I know that you are there, even in that crocodile, but as if you're submerged in that crocodile. So let me find you. Is this thy reply? Why? Because now, right now, she sees herself in the outward, submerged there. So is this your reply, that you are there? There I will find all this. As thou hast thyself accepted to be thus submerged in matter, so as to awaken it gradually to consciousness, is this the result of a more perfect identification with thee? See, हमें stone लगता है और human being लगता है, because we have a limited way of understanding, our senses are limited. But now even physics and scientists are saying that it is alive. A stone may look as stone, but it's not inanimate. There is life there. So she says that if you are everywhere and you are in the darkest of the matter also, as thou hast thyself accepted to be the submerged in matter. In stone, we can't really see alive presence. Maybe in plants and flowers, we see something alive. And in India, we are so fortunate. In India, we worship stone, deities. We know something is there. We try to invoke that presence. So as you yourself have accepted to be submerged in matter so as to awaken it gradually to consciousness, is this the result of a more perfect identification with thee? So wondering that since I'm getting identified more and more with you, it means that I can see in that darkness also I can plunge and find you there. Darkness is then not now anti-divine. Is this not thy answer to me, if thou wouldst learn to love truly? So as if an answer comes, and she shares that answer from within. If thou would learn to love truly, this is how you should love. In the darkness, in the impurities, in the ugliness, in all which appears material, there the purity of divine love has to be there. Not only just in that communion. If thou would learn to love truly, this is how thou should love, in darkness and unconsciousness. Look at people around us. We may have a little opinions about them, how much they are in darkness. They must be brought to light. All those judgments, we can just wither them away. Let them go off. You can just offer them your fragrance. Not wanting to fix them, correct them, because we don't know their journeys. Divine knows. We don't know their journeys. So how do we know what is good for them? And that doesn't mean that we don't, of course, for example, I have children. I try to, put mother's pictures around, and they are there. So it's not that we stop being ourselves, but it's just that we stop forcing ourselves on others, knowing that everyone has a unique journey. So if thou would learn to love truly, this is how you would love, in darkness and unconsciousness. O my Lord, O my sweet Master, thou knowest that I belong to thee. See, jab Lord ko pata hai that the servant is totally Lord's, then the Lord can send the servant anywhere. There is a loyalty factor associated, that wherever you would go, you will spread light. So go there. Acha, go in the plunges. Look at that, even materialistically. So if a boss is there, to which officer he will give the darkest of the job, where he knows that the officer has strength. It's such a difficult task, but I know this officer has the strength. So you know that I belong to thee, and that always I want what thou will. But do not let any doubt about what thou willest arise in me. Time to time, what Nandini was asking, doubt arises. So see, aspires, as you were sharing yourself, that aspiring, that may not any doubt arise in me. Enlighten me. And this happens when some unfortunate events happen in our life. We begin to doubt, what did I do wrong? What did just happen? So instead of that doubt, if we can have that certitude that if I have to go through that experience, there must be something that the divine wants me to go through. Let me go through it. I will go through it. Let me be submerged, enlighten me in some way. Which way is that, you would know. Enlighten me in some way in the immutable peace of the heart. So this is what we have to develop, immutable peace in the heart. And she says, there I know I will be enlightened. I would know there. The vital restlessness is not there. Likes, preferences, desires, demands, expectations, they are not there. All that matters is the mother. Now in that peaceful heart, enlightenment comes, like a knowing. Okay, this is what the reply is. So she says, where will I get the answer? Here. Enlighten me in some way in the immutable peace of heart. Let me be submerged in darkness if that is necessary. But at least let me know that it is thou, you, who willest it. So aspiring that, okay, am I treading the right path? It's from time to time, doubt is good also. Am I walking okay, mother? Because if I'm not walking okay, please let me know. So it means you have receptivity, you have an openness. You've not become rigid that I know what the mother knows, and like there is a ande wala confidence that is there, breaks and falls. So let me be submerged in, and there here we learn, divine humility, that it's the divine mother who is aspiring. And look at how rigid and arrogant we become. She has such humility. Let me be submerged in darkness if that is necessary, but at least please let me know that it is you who will it. I would not want to go in misalignment with your will. Lord, in response, I hear singing within my heart the hymn of gladness of thy divine and permanent presence. So as if, she gets the response, like a feeling of what you were sharing earlier, concrete presence. Yes, I am here. Yes, I am here. Because she's wanting that tuning, that frequency. So when we begin to want it in our life, it is not possible that we don't get it. It's just that we are tuning into many other frequencies also all the time. So confusion comes. So that's what, that tuning, if we desire, we will get it. Let that be the ultimate desire that we may have. How beautiful yoga in itself, one prayer, enough for a lifetime. And we have been through so many prayers. One prayer is enough for a lifetime, really. And not even full one prayer, half a passage you pick. This also comes in Bodhisattva verses, that even if you try to accomplish half a verse in this lifetime, enough. Yeah, so any last reflections, comments, anyone?
Ma'am, when you're reading, that quoted sentence, if thou would learn to love truly, this is how thou should love, right? So why does it have the st in the end by the after would and should? Because when I read it, I said wouldst and shouldst.
Yeah, it's that's true. It is that only. Actually, it's a different way of
Oh,
writing. I think it's a different kind of English.
It's an earlier British kind of
Yes, yes,
thou and wouldst and shoulds. Yes.
yes,
acha, acha,
yes.
okay.
So you will
Thank
see
you.
in prayers, it's like translated that like that
Yes,
only. Yeah, quaint English. Yeah.
yes.
Were they written in French or in English?
So I think these
It's a
all,
British English.
yeah, yeah. But these prayers were written in French only. I think it was written in the beginning here. Uh, yeah, see, written in French here. Written in French, they appear here in English translation. Some of them have,
And Sri Aurobindo translated these prayers.
some of them, he
Some of
says,
them.
yeah. So the ones which are with star,
Okay.
they were translated by Sri Aurobindo. And people have also commented on the French of these prayers, and they say that it's the most exquisite French that can be used, the way she has written, people who know French. So talking about the language aspect, that it's the highest of the French that she has used in these prayers. Yeah.
Who
But
else
I
can
don't
write the
I don't
highest
know.
one?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
As you said, that we are fortunate enough that we are able to have this nectar in this life. इससे ज़्यादा और क्या हो सकता है?
Yeah.
All this, not summing up, but sharing my experiences about these classes. Actually, we want satsang. We want to, if we want to be in communion with mother, and we like to listen about mother, and we like to talk to mother. That is why I want to, when I go to Delhi ashram, I want to go to Pondicherry. Here, when I talk about mother, अच्छा, तुम mother को मानते हो? No mother. So there is a vital kind of expression also कि तुम लोग क्या जानो mother कौन है. And then this kind of thing we want to share with, as Nandini was sharing, that those with whom we are attached and not attached in a detached sense now. Now I have learned this thing, that it does not mean that you detach yourself. You are attached in the sense that you want their welfare. You want to give whatever good is there. You want to give them something. Earlier, it was, as you rightly said, that it is a vital, you're vital. If somebody does not accept you, whether it be your student, your children, your relatives, your things, whom you want to give something. So initially it happens that you feel frustrated. Then gradually, when you understand that when time, like in synthesis of yoga, there are 4 words. When the time comes, that person will be receptive. And you said that if there is a light, if there is a fragrance, the people will come. So I think we have to prepare ourselves as that we become instrument. So that agar is, जैसे I want to share my this thing. Wherever I go, wherever I have to give some workshop or some lecture, I try to uplift their consciousness by talking about spirituality and things like that. They will say, हर समय spirituality नहीं है, हर समय spirituality, and they are true also. So the same thing, without talking, without taking the name of the spirituality, if you deliver, then there are persons who receive. And probably I think that this is our job. अपने को बना लो पहले खुद को बना लो, फिर जो भी होगा वो थोड़ी बहुत लाइट या थोड़ी बहुत किरण ले लेगा. And I think the greatest problem is of vital. When you are in the world, then the vital and the relationship problem creates. And when you are on this path also, then again there is a vital eagerness कि अभी तो मिला कि नहीं मिला और मोक्ष मिल जाए हमको, अरे इस जन्म में. But when you start understanding that in this life, whatever is, you do your job, इतना भी मिल गया तो बहुत मिल गया. Like that story which Alokda talks about, कि एक भक्त था, उसने कहा कि इतने जन्म तुमको हैं. उसने कहा अरे इतना वेट करना पड़ेगा, then you go on. लेकिन एक ने कहा अच्छा इतनी पत्तियां, अच्छा इतनी बार मुझे भगवान का नाम लेने का मिलेगा. So that kind of thing, I think this also comes gradually when you stick on the path. And for these things, these sessions are very important. It is not the matter of the dependency or crutches. They are the lifeline for us, as you have rightly written, living light. So this living light is essential for us. Those who can't go to Pondicherry to take energy, no matter how hard I am trying, and then I say, अच्छा mother ठीक है, अभी तुम सोचती हो कि जब मैं यहाँ ठीक से रह लूंगी, then you will call me to Pondicherry.
Yeah, beautiful.
So today I got a lot of answer for my one thing more which I wanted to share. I was questioning myself that I'm doing my everything not with that उदासीनता नहीं कि हाँ ये मुझे करना है, with attachment with the job, but it's like film is passing through in front of my eyes. And I was questioning myself, am I being indifferent? मैं क्या dry हो रही हूँ? मैं क्या उदासीन हो रही? Is this the right thing to do? But whenever, whatever matter you do, but if you don't read anything, if you don't see, if you don't listen anything about mother and Sri Aurobindo, there's a void which is not filled. So I think that dependency is good for till we are strong enough to walk.
I think, of course, dependency on the divine is the best kind of dependency that we can give ourselves.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, in prayers and meditations, Mother says at some moment that how does it matter whether I fulfill your mission or koi someone else fulfills? Look at, because we give ourselves too much importance at times.
Importance, right.
She says it doesn't matter. If not me, somebody else will be your instrument. How does it matter? I know your work will be done.
Right.
So
It's
beautiful,
the best
the
way for
attitude.
coping with the frustration.
Yes.
Best
Yes.
way to cope with the frustration.
Yes.
And it helps also, there's a need for, if you do something, then you want some kind of recognition. And when people steal your show and you think, okay, maqam to maine kiya, usne le liya, that frustration, you can cope up with the situation if you think about this sentence that मैं नहीं तो कोई और सही, मैंने अपना काम किया.
And also
शायद माँ यही बताना चाहती हैं कि रिकॉग्निशन की भी नीड नहीं होनी चाहिए.
Exactly. और इसको देखने के बहुत तरीके बताए गए हैं मदर श्री अरबिंदो के थ्रू. Another aspect Sri Aurobindo shares of this fellow I have shared, Devdutt and Harishchandra. So Devdutt is the one which is having less possessions, less wealth, and Harishchandra has a lot of wealth and possessions, property, and he's like I am your bhakta and you have given him so many possessions. No, that was Hari Mohan's dream. No, I'm confusing. What I wanted to share is that Devdutt is asking, how can I be happy at Harishchandra's success?
Acha.
So then he says that if I, Devdutt, I'm rejoicing in somebody's success, like you were sharing, somebody got a recognition. And he may be feeling happy at that recognition. But I'm not able to feel happy. So he says that when I begin to feel happy, I am actually not doing a favor to Harishchandra. I am doing a favor to myself, because I know in that moment that it is the same divine rejoicing in me or in Harishchandra.
Okay.
So when I become happy about somebody's promotion or recognition or whatever, I'm actually uniting in that moment with my divine self, which is everywhere, even in that person and me. So we do ourselves a favor. So this is another way, like one way you were sharing. In another way, Sri Aurobindo says that how not to be jealous and have goodwill and be happy for others' happiness. That even if I did not get it, see, the others got it. एक बुद्धा वाली भी स्टोरी है इसमें, just last, and there's some treat happening. Some king is offering a treat to a lot of monks, and he's thinking that, oh, I am generating a lot of positive karma. So when the treat is over and the Buddha is also there, and he asks that, okay, who should we dedicate the merit to? Something like that, that who was the person or who did the bestest karma, and he has his own name in mind, me the king, of course. And Buddha says no, the woman out there who was not even invited to the treat, she doesn't have home, homeless, fruitless, foodless, she's rejoicing that, wow, glad to have such a king who is inviting so many people and giving him treat. She is rejoicing in his happiness. So she is the one, who that merit should go to, something like that. Yeah. So it's good to rejoice whenever we feel ourselves constricted, that mujhe nahi mila, kisi ko mil gaya. Its antidote is rejoice. That, okay, how happy that person would be that he got it.
Just to give you a real example from my life, which recently happened, and I think I was able to cope well because we read that story, Devdutt's story, and immediately that came to my rescue. I participated in a competition, a big competition. I really like what I do, so I was really happy that I got through finals, and there was a lot of this thing, and I said, okay, I have to present in 3 minutes. I will improve my skills, and very strong resolution, ma, it doesn't matter if I win or don't win, but I want to give my best. I want to perfect my skills, every skills. And it happened, and I thought, okay, I did very well, and very confidently I presented all my research. And when the results came, I didn't win. I did not get the first prize. I did not get the runner-up. I also did not get audience choice and neither the sustainability prize. There was like different prizes. I was very sure I will definitely get something, at least sustainability, because my research is in sustainability. And when it happened, that 5 minutes, like as you said, the usual thing which had happened for so many years, if you don't get complaining, sadness, all of that happened. But as I was going out, as I was moving out, suddenly the Devadatta story I wrote, because we read it recently, I think last month. I said, how does it matter? Or I think Alokda's thing also came to mind that, the Mother Saraswati won, the perfection in somebody won. So rather than thinking, I didn't get it, I should better be happy for her because even I voted her in audience poll that her presentation was really good. And I did not, I made, told Mother that my aspiration was not to win, but to perfect my skills. So how does it matter? So, of course, it did stay for 10-15 minutes. I won't lie. There was this sadness, but it didn't stay for days, or that thing, I didn't sleep with it. And after some days, I was actually very happy. Good, I didn't win because it was good to break that ego. So, yeah, so just an example of how useful these sessions are to us.
Beautiful. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
They really help us in struggling with the day-to-day problems in the life. And most of the problems are ego problem, no matter.
Of
Ego
course.
problem.
Yeah.
Most of the problems,
Yeah.
all the problems, ego
Yeah.
problems.
Yes. Yes. So let us dedicate the merit, taking just like last moment of silence for the session. All the merit that we may have accumulated through all these sessions or from anywhere else, may it all go to all the sentient beings, near and far. May our hearts be full, content, minds simple, uncomplicated, relaxed, and with lots of joy and progress in our life. Everybody's life, may it have lots of joy and progress. In whatever way, we don't know what way is suitable for everyone. In whatever way, lots of joy and progress to each one. Thank you, everyone.